Hello and welcome to Studio Stories. I'm William Fields, also known as Billy Fields. Yeah, you can call me Billy. And I'd like to give you a little insight into my story and my journey. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, first of all. From Atlanta, Georgia. I was born in Fort McPherson, not Grady. So all you people that think, you have to be born at Grady to be from Atlanta, no. I was born in Fort McPherson, which is now, what's his name, Studios, Tyler Perry, as you Atlantans well know. But before that, it was a military base. And I'm a musician. I first decided I wanted to be a musician, I think in high school. I went to Benjamin E. Mays, same high school as Stone. Benjamin E. Mays, I was in the magnet program for math and science. But I wanted to be a musician. I really liked music, but I came from a background where my stepdad was in a holiness church, so he didn't want me to even listen to the stuff I wanted to listen to, let alone playing it. So even though I took piano lessons, I really didn't get to play the kind of music I wanted to play in the house. I would have to sneak to my friend's house to listen to Parliament, Ohio players and all that. I would have to hear that from friends in the neighborhood. I had a friend, Wendell Harmon, who lived right next door. Another friend of mine, Steve Robinson, who lived down the street. They had tons of records, all the records. Steve Robinson's dad had all the jazz, all the funk records. And we'd go to his house and play pool and just listen to records. And I think I was inspired, I'm pretty sure I was inspired by music from that point. I don't know if I necessarily wanted to be a musician, but I knew that I really was into, funk, like, Cameo, Parliament. When Prince came out, I was really into Prince. And speaking of Prince, that's when I decided I wanted to be a musician, when I heard Prince. Probably Dirty Mind, I was like, that's what I want to do right there. I wanted to take my clothes off. I wanted to I guess that's where it started from. I wanted to take my clothes off because I wasn't that good at playing then. I was just good at listening to music. But I did have a piano and I did take piano lessons. So I had that jump, but I didn't really have anybody to school me on the whole, at an early age is what I'm saying, on the whole funk thing as far as playing. So everything I had to pick up by myself up to a certain point. But the first band I was in was a band in Atlanta, a reggae band called The Kind. It was, I forget people's last names. This was so long ago. It was kind of a hippie reggae band, in the kind of whole boogie scene with the Grapes, and it was called The Kind. Let's see who else. YOU was another band that was in that. So yeah, it was a reggae band, but not like a reggae band that I got to do later with HR. From that band, from playing with The Kind, I managed to meet HR, and I told him I was in a reggae band, and he was doing a project at the time that was kind of rock and reggae. And I told him I'd been playing reggae, and he was like, I told him I wanted to be in this band. Basically, that's how I got to play with HR. I just came up, told him, saw he didn't have a keyboard player, told him I wanted to do it. And that's where I really started getting my chops and started learning stuff, the ropes about playing and the music business. Thanks to HR, he was kind of a mentor. He was kind of a father figure in a way because I was really young. And, maybe, looking back on it, maybe, I wasn't even really ready for that level, but I got ready real fast because he was the kind of person that would, we would rehearse maybe 4 times before we went out on tour. And I never, it was after experiencing this, it's hard to get back to how, most people think about rehearsing and playing. It's like they rehearse for months and months, and they just, have to get it so perfect that, it's kind of inhibiting. We rehearsed for 4 weeks and went on tour, not 4 weeks, 4 days, and went on tour, across the country. Now those rehearsals were all day, and he expected you to remember everything. And it was really a good drill for me. And I remember some of the ways we used to rehearse, a lot different from how other people rehearse. We wouldn't keep playing the songs from end to end. We would just rehearse the intros. Like the intros, I don't know if you know this about HR, the intros and outros to songs are real important to him. So we would rehearse the intros a lot for every song and how we were going to make the next song connect. These are some of the stuff I learned with him, that the outro, how the outro would connect to the next intro. That's what we spent time on at rehearsal. Not after we learned the song or played the song, we wouldn't just keep playing the songs. We played the intros and outros, intro to the next song, outro. So it was, he really got us brushed up, and I think the band was really good. I sort of went nuts on that tour because I was smoking a lot of weed, not eating good, reading the Bible a lot, listening to HR a lot. And as you know, if HR is your mentor, you're going to learn some good things, but you're probably going to learn how to be crazy too. And for some reason, I learned that. And I ended up having to leave because I had an episode where I kind of lost it, and I had to get driven back home and go to Grady for a few weeks. Now this time, now I am a Grady baby because I was in the 8th floor of Grady, just crazy as hell. But being locked up really helped me because that was the first time I realized that if I didn't act normal, I wouldn't have any freedom, or I wouldn't be able to walk, I'd be locked up in this place. So I kind of got my shit together then. And I was back in town. And, I skipped some stuff. When I was with HR, I recorded the Charge album with him, which is out on SST. And we did a few tours, never out of the country. We did a few tours. And, this is funny too. Since we're on HR, one of the ways we also didn't tour like most people toured. One of the things we do is if we had a gig somewhere, whatever town we had the gig in, that's what town we live in until our next gig. So let's say I stayed in Richmond a lot. That was one of the first places we had a gig. So when I went to Richmond, we had a gig in Richmond. We stayed in Richmond until we had a gig in DC. Stayed in DC till we had a gig in New York. Stayed in New York till we had. So these tours that I'm telling you about didn't happen like, 2 weeks at a time. I'm talking about over months. We would play like maybe 16, 14 shows or something, like over like 2 months or something like that. Sometimes more, it ebbed and flowed, but the gist of it is that we didn't live anywhere. We didn't have a base. Wherever we were, wherever we played last, that's pretty much where we lived. And we crashed in people's houses, get hotel rooms if we had the money. It was wild, but it was fun. It was a fun way to live. I stayed in LA for a long time. I remember liking that. Stayed on Venice Beach. That was nice. But that came to an end because, like I said, I went nuts because I couldn't handle it. I was really young. I was with a lot of older people. And, like I said, I probably wasn't exactly ready, but it was a crash course. And definitely, I wouldn't, if I was going to go back and give myself some advice, it would be not to take psychedelics and smoke a lot of pot and read the Bible. Those things kind of like might, make your head kind of like, go berserk. But that's what I was doing anyway, reading the Bible a lot, doing mushrooms and psychedelics and smoking weed. That never stopped, really, except the reading the Bible part. I read enough of the Bible. I read it from front to back. I'm done. You can talk about the Bible all you want to. It's a great book. I suggest you read it, but, that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But when I got back home, I saw this group playing, these 4 guys. And it was some of the hottest shit I'd ever seen. And I wanted to be in this band. This band was Follow For Now. They had already started when I was playing with HR. They had Justin Sinker was playing bass. David was the lead singer. Chris Tinsley was playing guitar and vocals. And Bernard Coley, also known as Enrique, was playing drums. So I went to a couple of shows that they played, was pretty much blown away. I knew that when I saw them, I was like, this is the people I should be playing with. This is my crew. They're playing what I feel and what I want to play. So I approached them just like I did HR. Told them, who I was. Told them I'd been playing with HR. I thought that'd give me some, bonus, leg up. And Enrique was the one that was really receptive. He was like, yeah, we need a keyboard player, asked me what bands I was into. I was like, Fishbone, Bad Brains, yada, yada, yada. He was like, yeah. I was like, see, I taught you, And at that time, my playing was better than it was before, but I'm still not gonna say that I was like, you know, an A1 keyboard player. I was all right. I was all right for a kid, I guess, you know. I still had some things to learn. But anyway, that band, you know, inspired me, and when I was able to play with them, I think I did a good job. I wish I could go back and do it again now, knowing what I know and being as good as I am now. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm going to get to the point where I decided I was good, because if I look back then, I didn't really practice enough or have the idea of how to practice and what to practice to be as good as I probably needed to be on the level of a signed act, which Falling for Now eventually did get signed. We went on a few tours. We went on a lot of tours. Falling for Now actually played a lot. It was our job. We toured pretty much constantly, you know, the Chitlin circuit or whatever you want to call it, the college circuit. We would play, you know, by the time when I first joined the band, it wasn't like that. But when we got signed with Nolan and Reeves as our managers, they put us on the road pretty much constantly. And that was a good thing too. I got, you know, I guess I got my chops on that, with that crew too, because I don't know if anybody knows David Harris, but he's one of the most probably driven musicians I've ever met in my life. David Harris would always be practicing, always have his guitar in his hand. It'd be kind of sickening sometimes because you'd be like, man, when is he gonna put his guitar down? You know, I'm tired of listening to this motherfucker sing and play guitar. Like, will he please shut up? You know, that kind of thing. You know, but you know, I kind of peeped it and I was like, you know, he is getting good. I remember he hadn't heard what's that album? Electric Ladyland. He took my copy of Electric Ladyland, hadn't even heard it. In about 4 or 5 weeks, he was like playing Hendrix stuff, you know what I mean? That's how driven he was. He had heard Hendrix before, but I don't think he'd ever listened to Hendrix. And I don't want to make this about David Ryan Harris because I know this is about Billy Fields, but the reason it's about David right now is because I'm trying to tell you what an impact he was. He, you know, he was into more like Terrence Trent D'Arby, Prince and stuff like that, real pop music. He hadn't really got to the whole alternative side, and alternative wasn't even a big thing because there was no 99X or anything at the time. So it was hard to be alternative. There wasn't a big, you know, mega avenue for it per se. It was all underground. But I digress. I saw how he would practice, and I was like, you know, I guess that's, you know, I finally got it. I was like, I guess that's what you have to do, you know, to have, you know, to make it or to be competitive. And you have to, you know, keep practicing and keep on it. So that's pretty much where I learned that kind of work ethic because, like I said, I learned it all on my own. There was really nobody to teach me. We did some tours. We toured with 24/7 Spies. That was a big tour. These are tours where we weren't in the van, you know, going from town to town. These were like bus tours. Like we toured with 24/7 Spies and we toured with Pearl Jam. Those were the 2 biggest tours I think we did. I can't remember anything bigger than that. Those are the ones where we had buses on, I guess. So, you know, before that, it was just a van type tour. Like I said, we were kind of underground. There was no, you know, there was no 99X. 99X came later. So yeah, touring with 24/7 Spies, that was a lot of fun. Pearl Jam, that was a lot of fun too. I can remember one time in Maryland, we were playing a college with Pearl Jam. This was before that Jeremy video came out too. So they were big. They were still pretty big, but they weren't as big as they had gotten by the time that Jeremy video came out. A lot of my friends don't like Pearl Jam too, but if you ever saw them live during that time, I think it's hard not to be infected with their energy, you know, the jumping around, and they rocked really hard. And they played, their album didn't really give, you know, credit to how they rocked because it was just pretty much insane. You know, they rocked. I don't care what anybody says. Pearl Jam rocked. And we were in Maryland. Me and Eddie went out to smoke a joint, and we tried to come back in the back, you know, where the backstage, where the stage was, and the security wouldn't let us in. And I was like, this is Eddie Vedder, whose name I just forgot. And they looked at me the same way, like, who? Like, you know, Who y'all have badges? Where are y'all's badges? We left our badges or whatever. You know how it is when you have that tag around you. Sometimes you leave it somewhere or whatever. So they wouldn't let us in. We had to I had to motion to somebody that was inside but we couldn't get in, and that the show wasn't going to go on without Eddie. So I knew we were going to get in anyway. But anyway, that was a funny story because they didn't even know who the singer was. Follow for Now broke up sadly in 1995. And it's probably a good thing we broke up because we weren't doing anything. We weren't really the band wasn't getting along that well. We weren't creating anything, We weren't working together. It was a lot different than HR because it was there was no leader in Follow for Now. We kind of all did it together, and it made things go slower because of the democratic process. In HR, it was just we're playing these songs, we're doing this, we're doing that. He let you come up with your part, per se, and he would have ideas about what you should play. If you were doing something he didn't like, he wouldn't let you, he would be like, no, scrap that. But more or less, it was he was the dictator in the band. And so things moved a lot smoother and quicker, and we could have 4-day rehearsals because somebody was laying out the project like this, it's gonna be like that. And with Follow for Now, it was more like nursery school. We were all in there together. We were all young, boys with hormones raging. And it was really hard to get anything done or make any progress happen after the first initial push. So we all got sick of each other, were mad at each other, fussing and cussing at each other. Some of us had drug problems. I'm not gonna run anybody on the bus because we all did drugs, but some of us had problems with it, which always got to me because, I've been the kind of person everything in moderation is cool with me. Of course, you people can be no, never do cocaine, never do, but if you go to a party and somebody puts lines in front of your face and, that's what people are doing, and you're I'm not gonna put out names again, and you're in the place of this band or these people that you think are famous and you think you like, and they're all doing cocaine, and you're just sure, So we all, we did cocaine, we did, I shouldn't keep going on about the drugs because we did drugs. We did drugs, and it's not necessarily a good thing to do drugs, but I never understand why some people, their party can't be over. Why it can't be okay, now the party's over. Put the drugs away, it's time to do this, it's time to do that, it's time to take care of business. You gotta have a life. You can't spend your whole life smoking crack or, even getting high. People have said that, people have told you that, that's true. You can't do anything or be anything if your focus is on doing drugs or, because it'll take you away from that. But anyway, Follow for Now had all those problems, but we're going to overcome that too because we got a surprise for y'all. Yep, I said it here. We got a surprise for y'all. Anyway, after Follow for Now was over, I was, back in Atlanta again. I never really left Atlanta. I was just out of Atlanta for a lot because, like I said, Follow for Now toured constantly. So I wasn't really that much in touch with what was going on in Atlanta. But I started a band called Seek with Freddie Luster and my cousin, actually, Lisa Terry. Seek was a lot of people think that Seek is way different from Follow for Now, only because Follow for Now played rock, but Follow for Now was also a very soulful and funky band. And Seek had, just the soulful part. We were kind of I guess you could say neo-soul, but we started before that term came out, so I'm not going to say we pioneered neo-soul at all because that was kind of what was happening. I saw a band called De-Influence from Europe in Athens, and when I saw them, that was another point where I was oh, that reminds me of Bob Marley. That's really powerful what they're doing. It's nothing but, soul or it reminded me of Sade or something, but like I said, we weren't calling it neo-soul or anything like that, but when I saw De-Influence, I noticed that it was just as powerful as rock, but the guitarist wasn't cranking up and doing any kind of feedback or anything, but it just had the same kind of like Bob Marley or something and power. So I wanted to do something like that, and that's how Seek was. And even though we ended up being sort of a neo-soul / live house music band, which is where it turned, once it got popular, we were playing like house, I guess, more or less, in deep house live, kind of, with some songs in there as well. We recorded 3 albums, I believe. Yeah, we were more prolific than Follow for Now, but we were older. Like I said, I'm not dogging Follow for Now because we were really young. Yeah, Seek recorded 3 albums. We opened for India Ari at the Tabernacle. We opened for the Roots. We played a lot of, we went to Japan. We did pretty well for an independent. We were on Brash. Who else is on Brash? I'm trying to think. I think James Hall was on Brash. Anthony David was on Brash. Yeah. Anthony David went on tour opening for us. Yeah, Anthony David opened for Seek. He ain't gonna never tell you that. He borrowed my chord one time too. That time he opened for us, he borrowed a chord of mine. It was like one of those long, I forget what you call them. It was a 1/4-inch cord, but it was monster cable. That's what they're called, monster cable. It was like 16 feet long. He's like, "Can I borrow your cable?" I was like, "Sure," because I think I was playing bass then. Yeah, I went from keys to bass too in Seek. But anyway, and then so after it was over, I was like, "Do you have my cable?" And he was like, "I left it on the stage. You didn't see it?" I was like, "I didn't come up on stage and give it. I handed you my cord. You should be handing it back." But anyway, I didn't forget that, Anthony. I ain't gonna forget that either. You left my cord on the stage. The cord is like $20-something. I didn't have no money like that then. Anyway, okay. After Seek, what did I do after Seek? Seemed like I went to seemed like I didn't do that much after Seek. Seek broke up in, when did Seek break up? 2004 or something like that. In the early 2000s, Seek broke up. And I didn't really do much of anything for a while. Like, I started playing with 3-5 Human, actually. Shortly after Seek broke up, I started playing with 3-5 Human. Their band quit. I don't know. They were with. I was playing with Melvin for a while. I guess their bass player quit because I was playing bass with them. I don't know if you know Melvin, awesome drummer. Melvin, awesome. Anyway, of course, Tommy's awesome too. I hadn't mentioned Melvin. That's one of the most awesome musicians I played with. That was fun for a while. Then Melvin quit. Then they got another drummer, and they got Enrique from Follow for Now one time. We went on tour with 3-5 Human. We did a West Coast tour. It was wild. It was pretty wild. Y'all don't know Tommy till y'all have gone on tour with him in a van. I'll tell you that. Y'all don't even know who he is. I'm just kidding. Tommy's a saint. That was wild. We kind of had a falling out then. I don't know. I guess it was because, we weren't really making any money. It was a hard tour. We did some stuff with the Indigo Girls. That was fun. But 3-5 Human was always doing stuff with the Indigo Girls. That was a lot of fun. After 3-5 Human, I feel like I'm leaving out some stuff. And the reason I feel like that is because right about the time of 3-5 Human was when I decided I was getting old. For some reason I realized, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I'm getting old. And I thought, I don't even play as good as a person my age should be playing. And I was like, that's a shame. I feel like if I'm this old, I should be this good. And I know that might have been all in my head too, but I'm glad it was in my head because I got a piano and I sat down and I started playing. Anything I liked, I learned how to play. I started playing all the time. Anything I wanted to learn, there was YouTube. There wasn't YouTube when I was a kid or when I was coming up, didn't have YouTube. I'd see if there was somebody playing it on YouTube. I'd see if I could find the music for it. Because like I told you, I took music lessons. So I can read music. It might be slow, but I can read music. So I looked to see if I could get the music for it, and I started learning. I'm like, I don't want to be an old man that says he can play and can't play. So I was like, I got on everything really hard, and then to the point where I felt like I was good, because people would come like, hear me practice, or even my friend Enrique was living with me at the time. He was like, dang, you good. You can, people would tell me I was good. So I'm like, I must be good now. I know that sounds crazy, but like I said, if you didn't have a teacher and you didn't go to school for it, and you're picking up everything, from Prince videos and stuff like that, you don't really know, until you see somebody. Actually, you do know. When you see somebody that can really like get down on their instrument, then you're like, wow, I can't do that, or I wish I could do that. And if you're going to be in the music business, you're going to see somebody that can really like, get down on their instrument. But anyway, now that I put that out there, in about the mid-2000s, I got serious and really started practicing. And after that, I started playing with anybody. After I felt like I could play, I started playing with anybody that would let me play with them. Like, I was like, I could play with anybody, and I want to play with everybody. That was my attitude. Like, I want to play. Like, I just want to, play. So I would, call people, and every band that I've been in, I had asked to play with them. I can't recall any band except Seek, that, was like, play with us. I went and, was like, I want to play with you guys, or I want to play with you guys. So I just kept that up. I even went to Stone's friend Houston, and was like, I want to play with you. Like, I want to play, and he would be like, okay. He's still leading me on. He's still like, okay, you can play with me okay, some point you can play with me. So I told him I was good enough. I don't know what the problem is, but anyway, maybe one day. Let's see. Then I started playing with antagonizers. I was still playing bass at the time, even though, like I told you, I've been practicing keys like crazy. I can't recall any band that I started playing with on. Antagonizers was a touring band at the time. It's a punk band, kind of skinhead, oi, punk. They started off as like 77. Now they're pretty much an oi band. But anyway, they needed a bass player, and they were touring already. So I was like, sure. And we've been pretty much halfway around the world since then. I think that band, I started playing with them in 2010. And actually, I left out a part where I got shot, but yeah, I'm gonna go back to that part, because that was a wake up call too. It was 2010 when I got shot. I was doing sound at a rave. I didn't tell you that I worked sound too. I also, studied sound but I was working sound at a rave, and I stepped outside, and I guess there was these three guys, these three black dudes. I think they were couldn't be more than 17 to 18. And I guess they thought I was a doorman or something. And they were like, give me your money. And I was like, I don't have any money. And they were like, they were like, you got to have some money. And I was like, no, I don't have any money. And they pulled out a gun, and he telegraphed pulling out the gun. That's how I live. If you wonder how I survived being shot through the face, it's because I saw him pulling out the gun. And I was like, if they're gonna pull out a gun, I'm not gonna stand here anymore. And I turned around to run, and I got shot through the back of the neck, and it went out that way. But I kept running, because it was I believe it was a 9mm, and it went straight through. So I just kept running, and they didn't get any money, and I didn't die. I didn't even pass out. I went into Grady still awake, being shot through the face. Couldn't talk because my tongue was shot through like that and swollen up, but I made it. And some people would say, for the grace of God, he made it, or whatever. I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe it was not my time to go. Had it been my time to go, I'd be gone. It just was not my time. And that was right before I started playing in the punk band. But I used to do, I think we were still doing Mic Club back then too. I left out Mic Club, where I played with, in the band that did the, Dress the Beatniks Mic Club thing. I was in that band for a while. Yeah, when I was telling you I wasn't doing anything, I was doing that too. sometimes it's hard to remember because if it's not big or if it doesn't make you a lot of money, it's easy to forget like some of the stuff you did. But I think Mike Club was pretty important. It was a big Atlanta staple for a while. So I'm sorry, fellas, I didn't mean to leave that out because I played with some great cats in that band too. Mark Mays, Divinity, Asa Fain, of course. It was usually like a 3-person band. I think Crisco was in that band sometimes. But anyway, those were great times too. It started at Apache. I believe that, yeah, Mike Club started at Apache. Yep, it was called the Boulevard when it started. Nobody was there. By the time it was over, it was wall to wall. People were lined up. I think toward the end it started losing popularity a little bit, but it went out on a big note. Yeah, back to the punk band. I was playing bass with them. I still am playing in that band, actually, but now I play keys in that band. They got another bass player, and I play keys. Yeah, we did a few tours. We recorded 2 albums on Pirates Press. Yeah. And since we're just about up to the present day, I'm also in a band called Waiting for UFOs. We have 1 album, Don't Let the Ass Hats Burn You. It's independently released. It's pretty good. Check it out. Waiting for UFOs is different than most bands. We got a cello player and a viola player, a banjo player, and the drummer plays kind of percussion, kind of weird. People think he can't drum because his kit looks not like a normal kit, but he's an excellent drummer. And I play keys in that band. And I play with some more people around town too. Andy Brown, his band Links Deluxe. Haven't recorded with them yet in the studio. I've sent them tracks over the mail. I don't know, over you know, the internet. I don't know how that's coming. We haven't released anything, I should say, with me in it. That's about it. In conclusion, if you want to see me today, I'm being one of those bands. I'm sorry for the promo. Sorry for the self promotion, but you can either go see Antagonizers, Waiting for UFOs, or Links Deluxe, or me doing something solo somewhere where I'll be playing piano and singing, which I still do sometimes. And I want to thank Kevin Williams too. Gave me my first show doing that at his Gallery 911. Or is it 991? 991. Gallery 991. Or is it 992? My memory is bad, but you know I smoke a lot of weed. I never stopped doing that. Gallery 992. I know where it is in the West End. In conclusion, you know, if you have a dream, even if there's nobody there to show you how to do it, if you're persistent and that's really what you want to do, and you go for it and you're willing to sacrifice, you will make it. And especially if you learn. If you want to learn, and you can always learn. You're never too old. I was almost 40 years old when I feel like I got serious on my instrument. Damn near 40 years old. And now, I know that sounds bad, and I know some people are gonna say like, how can he say he wasn't serious? I saw him doing this, I saw him doing that. But you know, I didn't really get down and learn my craft like I think I should have, because that wasn't necessarily my whole focus when I was young. I was too good looking. And you know, when I got older, I got ugly. Being good looking, I'm gonna tell you, being good looking is a setback. Because, you know, you got girls knocking on your door all the time. You got people giving you drugs. You're in a band. You forget about what's important, like learning your shit and you know, being good at what you do. And I fell into that trap, but never again. And that's why I want to pass that down to you. All you good-looking people, take time out to learn your craft, to be good, to be the best. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good looking you are. It only matters what's in your head and heart and what you know and what you can show. And I would like to thank Stone for calling me here. You know, I'm very humbled to be here. Even though I told you I was good looking, I'm just telling you the truth. I'm still humble. Thank you very much.